Welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into something pretty significant. We're
hmm
going to challenge this pervasive myth of AI inevitability.
Yeah, the idea that this is all just happening to us.
Exactly. We're unpacking a critique that argues this relentless push for high-end AI is actually, perpetuating exploitation and concentrating a huge amount of power.
And the source we're looking at, the AI illusion, really frames this well. It argues that the whole chase for AGI,
What?
artificial general intelligence,
Right.
it isn't really about universal progress. It's about the rapid consolidation of control.
So these AI companies are going through a kind of metamorphosis.
A profound one. They're becoming these concentrated global empires that, they now effectively dictate culture, economics, and even geopolitics.
That focus on centralization is, well, it's startling. We're talking about tech giants like Microsoft, Google, Amazon.
And the sheer scale of the resources they command is what we need to scrutinize.
I saw a quote on that.
You're probably thinking of the UN human rights chief, Volker Turk. He voiced serious alarm that the wealth of just a handful of these companies often exceeds that of entire industrialized nations.
Wow. And that immediately raises concerns about, global dependency.
Dependency, vendor lock-in, not just for a business here or there, but for whole economies.
So it's not just about the market cap. How does this influence become, geopolitical?
Well, it's because the values and the biases that are embedded in these systems,
Which are overwhelmingly Western-centric in their design.
overwhelmingly, and that can sort of inadvertently reinforce existing global disparities.
Mm-hmm.
The core argument is that the big benefits flow to a very privileged few.
Which leads to the question, who's bearing the hidden costs?
That is the question.
And this is where the source gets really disturbing. We have to talk about this idea of AI colonialism. It details how data workers in the global south, I think the example was Kenya, are laboring under these psychologically traumatic conditions.
It's awful. They're sifting through horrific, violent content for minimal pay.
All to train AI models that benefit companies strictly in the global north.
It's a new, almost invisible frontier of exploitation. And that human cost is tragically matched by the environmental strain.
The energy consumption.
Massive. The energy needed to train these huge AI models and run the data centers. It puts an incredible strain on local resources, including water.
And that just exacerbates environmental injustice for already vulnerable communities.
It does.
And on top of all that, accountability seems almost impossible when the systems themselves are so opaque.
Exactly. They're often called black boxes for a reason. It makes it incredibly difficult, almost impossible, for regulators to understand how decisions are being made.
Which just erodes trust.
Completely. And that opacity is what allows these deep-seated algorithmic biases to just flourish. They deepen existing social and racial inequalities in really critical areas like healthcare or criminal justice.
Okay, so if we accept that AI's path isn't set in stone, that it's all shaped by human choices, what's the action plan here? How do we move toward a more equitable design?
The source outlines a really critical three-pronged approach. First, there has to be a global insistence on more transparency.
We have to be able to see inside the black box.
We have to mandate an understanding of the design, the operation, the decision-making, just to even begin to mitigate bias.
And the other 2 points get at the governance and the bias itself, right?
Correct. Second is democratic governance. So establishing clear, binding laws, international treaties with real checks, and ensuring broader participation.
Especially from diverse voices and the global south.
Absolutely essential. And third is a real commitment to equitable design.
So actively identifying and mitigating all that embedded bias.
Right, through things like anti-bias training and, maybe most importantly, through genuinely diverse data collection from the very beginning.
So the overarching goal isn't to halt innovation. It's to build an AI future that, genuinely serves everyone.
And to do that, we have to challenge the illusion of inevitable progress that's built on such concentrated power.
A powerful idea to end on.
And it leaves us with a final thought for you to consider. Since these AI systems are trained on historical data, which is full of existing societal biases.
Right, it's a reflection of our past.
It is. So how might you insist on changing the data inputs in your own industry to make sure that technology doesn't just amplify the inequalities of the past?